The story begins with a space vessel encountering a critical navigation error. The crew fails to make a manual correction to avoid collision with an orbital body, resulting in an inevitable crash. Despite the autopilot attempting to correct the course, the situation becomes dire, and the crew is penalized 4,000 credits for the navigational failure. Two months after the crash, the surviving crew debates accessing the locked cargo hold. Some believe it could contain useful supplies for survival, while others insist on following Pony Express protocols. The crew discovers they need a code scanner to access an emergency entrance, but only the captain has access to this device. The ship survived thanks to insulation foam that automatically sealed breached areas. The crew has limited supplies including water sacks, food items, and enriched flavor gel. There are also restricted items requiring captain access, including materials for making special drinks to boost crew morale. Food supplies are running low, estimated to last about 4 months, less than their remaining air supply. The crew tries to maintain optimism by joking about future fame and TV appearances when they return home. They face additional challenges like running out of basic supplies such as toilet paper. The cockpit remains largely foam-filled after the crash. The crew believes the essential code scanner might still be there. Meanwhile, they struggle with caring for Captain Curly, who requires constant medical attention. Anna, the nurse, seeks help with Curly's medication management. The search for the code scanner continues as the crew explores the foam-covered cockpit. They discover numerous warning notices about pay deductions for various infractions, including unauthorized cargo access and damage to ship equipment. The situation highlights the strict corporate policies they operate under. Tensions rise among crew members as Swansea, a senior mechanic, refuses to let others help with maintenance work, citing safety concerns and past incidents. The crash has strained relationships, with crew members showing signs of stress and frustration with their confined situation. The crew finally accesses a restricted area using code 4517. A flashback reveals events from 7 days before the crash, showing psychological evaluations and hints of underlying issues with the captain. The situation suggests the crash might not have been entirely accidental. The crew discusses their intern Jimmy, who seems extremely enthusiastic about his role. They are currently playing a familiar playlist that has been part of their routine for years. There are some ongoing maintenance issues, particularly with a broken vent that has been causing problems for days. The crew deals with various shipboard issues, including a broken coffee machine and intense game nights. There are hints at psychological evaluations and personality quirks among crew members. The food dispenser system appears to have some mechanical limitations that need to be addressed later. Company policies are reviewed, emphasizing teamwork and proper rest schedules. The guidelines limit rest to no more than 5 hours and stress punctuality in deliveries. There are warnings about safety protocols and financial penalties for accidents, with medical expenses being deducted from pay. The ship layout is discussed, with particular attention to insulation foam coverage and structural features. Some areas are blocked off, though nothing crucial seems to be affected. The crew size has apparently increased to 5 members, which wasn't properly planned for in the ship's design. Tension rises over a vent repair incident involving emergency foam deployment. Access to tools, particularly an axe, requires captain authorization. The repair attempt triggered safety systems, causing friction among crew members. The narrative shifts to a psychological evaluation discussion. The protagonist expresses doubts about their career path and leadership role. They question whether to continue as a freighter captain or risk trying something new despite their current success. The story takes a darker turn with implications of corporate issues and retirement concerns. There is reference to workers' rights, benefits, and business operations, suggesting underlying tensions between management and crew. The crew discovers a massive cargo of mouthwash with 14% ethanol content. This leads to a concerning situation where sobriety is at risk. The timeline jumps between present events and flashbacks, revealing mounting tensions. A communal birthday party tradition is revealed, with strict protocols about cake preparation and celebrations. The captain has special clearance for these duties, showing how even celebrations are regulated by company policies. The crew receives devastating news that Pony Express is shutting down and they will only get paid for this final delivery. This hits particularly hard as Pony Express was one of the last human-crewed freighter companies. The writing had been on the wall for some time, but the timing of the announcement creates tension among the crew members. The news sparks heated discussion about personal circumstances. Some crew members face uncertain futures without savings, while others have family support to fall back on. The conversation reveals underlying resentments and accusations about trying to escape their current situations. 2 months after a crash, conditions have deteriorated significantly. Food supplies are running low, with evidence of desperate attempts to access more resources. Dragon breath containers are scattered about, and the food machines have been smashed open. The situation has become increasingly dire. During nighttime hours, tensions rise over administering medication to a crew member, making concerning noises. There's discussion about potential rescue, though the chances seem slim. The psychological toll of their situation becomes increasingly apparent through their interactions. A moment of attempted normalcy occurs as crew members discuss having cake, though the conversation quickly turns philosophical about escape and peace. The reality of their situation continues to weigh heavily, despite attempts to find small comforts. A crucial discovery is made about additional medicine stored in a foam-filled hallway locker. Despite the risks of accessing it, including potential space exposure, the crew considers it worth attempting to reach. This leads to a quest to obtain an axe for the task. The situation becomes increasingly tense as mental stability deteriorates. Physical symptoms like shaking hands and violent thoughts emerge. The psychological horror of their circumstances becomes more evident, with references to the Shining-like behavior. The scene starts with a tense discussion about a foam wall and bad luck. The situation appears dire with only 8 hours remaining until some kind of judgment. The mood is heavy with despair and resignation as characters debate the pointlessness of their current predicament. A crisis unfolds as someone named D is dying. There are frantic attempts to find disinfectant from a medical stash. Tensions rise as blame is thrown around regarding a cocktail incident, with heated arguments about responsibility and potential solutions, including mouthwash. The characters discover something disturbing, indicated by a light and signs of an accident. Despite the dangerous situation, they try to help someone who managed to escape to another side. The search for mouthwash continues amid rising tension. Questions arise about Anna's location and power issues throughout the facility. A strange hallucination or symbolic occurrence is mentioned, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty and confusion. The situation with the mouthwash remains unresolved. A mysterious creature called a Hellpony is encountered. It's described as a blind beast that is aimless and restless. The presence of blood adds to the ominous atmosphere, suggesting danger and violence. The final bottle of mouthwash is found and offered to someone injured. A revelation about sugar content making the situation worse comes to light. The timeline jumps to 3 months after a crash, setting up for explanations of previous events. A plan is formed to access a medical facility through utility connections. The group discusses knocking someone out using a spiked mocktail to obtain a key, turning the situation into an impromptu heist scheme. A dramatic revelation about a hidden gun creates tension. The scene shifts to one day before a crash, with characters searching frantically for the weapon. Stress and responsibility become central themes. A shocking pregnancy revelation emerges amid discussions of responsibility and protection. A gun is mentioned to be in a safety case, hidden away, adding to the mounting tension between characters. The story takes an emotional turn as relationships between characters are explored, particularly focusing on Swansea's complex character. Despite initial impressions of hostility, underlying care and concern are revealed. Secrets about a cryopod and hidden activities come to light. Accusations fly regarding deception and survival plans. The situation becomes increasingly desperate as true motives are exposed. A tense situation unfolds as Anna confronts Jimmy about waiting. Curly expresses concern and wants Jimmy removed from the area. The scene hints at an impending disaster in the cockpit, with implications that Jimmy may be responsible. There are disturbing details about Curly being trapped in foam, resulting in severe injuries. A heated confrontation reveals deep-seated resentment from Jimmy toward the captain's leadership. Jimmy expresses frustration about their accomplishments becoming meaningless and suggests a dark alternative, allowing the incident to be remembered as a tragedy where no one survived to tell the tale. The captain faces accusations about failing their responsibilities. The scene builds tension as Jimmy implies sinister intentions about how the incident will be remembered, suggesting no survivors will remain to tell what really happened. A dramatic reveal shows Jimmy as the perpetrator of the disaster. The scene shifts to show events from Kay's perspective, providing clarity about the captain's situation and the trigger that led to these events. A flashback shows a celebration with the captain giving a speech. The scene provides stark contrast to the current situation, highlighting the dramatic fall from happier times to the present crisis. The narrative explores themes of class disparity and redemption. Despite the betrayal, there's still hope for survival and taking responsibility for one's actions. The focus shifts to Curly's situation and the need to persist through difficult circumstances. A deeply personal monologue reveals struggles with addiction, attempts at redemption, and the pursuit of a normal life. The speaker reflects on how achieving life goals often felt hollow, with their darkest days paradoxically feeling like their best. The story reaches its climax with a confrontation about responsibility and heroism. There's an admission of mistakes and apologies, but the situation remains tense. The focus stays on taking responsibility for actions and their consequences. The finale shows a disturbing scene with Curly, involving a twisted attempt at fixing past wrongs. The relationship between the captain and co-pilot is highlighted one last time, ending in a dark and unsettling conclusion that brings closure to their story.